Centuries ago, the land that is now Arizona and New Mexico becomes the home of Indian groups like the Pueblo. Water is precious in the dry Southwest. The Pueblos move into river valleys like the Rio Grande, close to water. Then someone makes a discovery. By working hard, irrigating the fields, man can raise enough corn to live here permanently. No need to wander like other Indian groups searching for food. The Pueblos can settle down, become farmers, and build permanent villages. Their style of apartment-like buildings suggests the name Pueblo to early Spanish explorers, for Pueblo means village. So they become the Pueblos, and to them, life itself seems to flow from the earth. The earth gives food. With warm, dry soil, they make plaster and build homes. Then another discovery. The fine particles of clay earth can be molded, shaped, made into cooking utensils, pots, water jars, dozens of objects to make life more comfortable. This is the Pueblo discovery in Arizona and New Mexico 1,000 years before Columbus. Slowly the Pueblos improve their pottery making, experiment with different sizes and shapes, different kinds of clay, mix in sand, pound the clay, roll it, bake it, to get a better jar that holds corn, beans, yes, and even water. And unlike Eastern Indian groups, who give up pottery making soon after contact with the white man, the Pueblos continue with their art, carrying on without a break for 1,600 years. Pottery making becomes the woman's job, and since the pottery will be used in her own home, she adds decoration to beautify it and express her artistic feelings. Then, in recent years, the Pueblo finds that metal containers can be purchased from the white man. Pottery making threatens to decline. Yet thousands of tourists will come to this land, and tourists want to buy pottery. So the Pueblo finds a new reason to make pots. No longer pottery for his own home. Pottery now for souvenirs. Commercial pottery, mass-produced. Bright to catch the eye. Tourist pottery. And the artist says sadly, "This is not beauty." The work no longer shows the same inspiration a Pueblo woman once felt when she made pottery for her home. Even the designs have lost their meaning. But what can the potter do when his world is changing? There are exceptions. At San Ildefonso, some potters carry on the finest Pueblo tradition, despite the turn of events. Maria Martinez, one of the most famous workers, has spent a lifetime perfecting her pottery skills, reviving Pueblo styles long forgotten. Maria uses the coil method of her ancestors. To the flat, round base, she adds a coil of wet clay. Each coil is carefully pressed on top of the last one. Slowly, the rough form takes shape. After the rough pot dries a bit, Maria shapes it with a gourd shell. Then the pot is smoothed and polished by rubbing it with hard polishing stones. To the smooth surface, A kind of paint called slip can be added for decoration. Slip is sometimes made from colored minerals which are ground into fine powder and mixed with water. Painted on just before firing, the slip produces dull designs on the polished surface. Maria applies the slip with a brush that she makes from a slender part of the yucca tree leaf. Maria chews one end of the stem, thus the pulp is removed, leaving thin fibers which become the brush hairs. Maria varies her design to fit each piece of pottery. Each piece is distinctive, the result of Maria's individualism, which expresses her ideas, her feelings, her likes and dislikes. It is individualism anchored in strong tribal tradition. Individualism which continues to find expression in spite of tourist markets and modern innovation. After slip has been applied, Maria's pottery will be ready for firing. Firing hardens it. Maria fires in a homemade kiln and burns dried cakes of animal manure. By special firing methods, an ancient style in black pottery was revived by Maria and her husband Julian. The reddish pot becomes deep black when the fire is smothered. Slip painted on the pot remains dull black and forms a design on the shiny black surface, black on black. After more than 400 years of contact with the white man, the Pueblo still produces a distinctive art. Although even more remarkable is the fact that this art fits perfectly into a modern world. Yet there is doubt. Will this art continue to find inspiration? The designs once came from what a Pueblo saw and felt, the world of nature, religion, from a Pueblo environment which is changing. What inspired such geometric design? Adobe apartment homes? How many have seen the beauty of a bird, watched its flight, heard its song, and been able, like Maria, to translate those feelings to an art which adds richness to everyday life? A few simple blades of grass, the common things, wing feathers from a bird. Maria has known these and given them new meaning in her pottery. Other Pueblo potters have seen the deer and spoken eloquently of their feelings in pottery decoration. A line connecting the heart with the mouth to remind us a man's words should come from the heart. Such is the tribal wisdom spoken through the language of pottery, the 1,600-year-old tradition of Arizona and New Mexico Indian villages. And today, Pueblo tradition faces a modern world of atomic energy, science, speed, and new space. We can see the changes in a new generation. Maria's son, Tony Martinez, is also an artist, but his tools are commercial paint, pencils, a camel's hair brush, and modern paper. Tony's deer has some Pueblo characteristics, yet it also includes a touch of the new life in its design and feeling. Maybe it tells us that the Indian today cannot honestly express himself in art through the old designs. Perhaps these are the beginnings of a new art, a new way to show his ideas about the world. For Tony's changing world is an increasing mixture of cultures, white and Indian. Yet the intermixture carries on a long cultural fusion, which began even before Spanish explorers brought Western ideas to the Pueblo's world. And if the past gives any clue to the future, we can expect from this cultural fusion new inspirations, new ideas, perhaps a new art from Pueblo people, expressing themselves through the medium of fine pottery or modern painting.
side.
Centuries ago, the land that is now Arizona and New Mexico becomes the home of Indian groups like the Pueblo. Water is precious. Corn to live here permanently. No need to wander like other Indian groups searching for food. The Pueblos can settle down, become farmers, and build permanent villages. Their style of apartment-like buildings in the dry Southwest. The Pueblos move into river valleys like the Rio Grande, close to water. Then someone makes a discovery. By working hard, irrigating the fields, man can raise enough